It's breathtaking.
When you see sand here, imagine water. If you dive in, you can't reach the bottom.
You dive in.
Yes, it's called swimming.
I don't believe you.
In the shadows of Arrakis lie many secrets. But the darkest of them all may remain. The end of House Atreides.
Your father didn't believe in revenge.
What if Paul Atreides were still alive?
Have you ever had a dream about your first ride?
Don't try to impress anyone. You're brave, we all know that. Be simple. Be direct. Nothing fancy.
I understand. Nothing fancy.
You will never lose me, Paul Atreides.
We gave them something to hope for.
That's not hope!
May thy knife chip and shatter.
Whenever you're ready. Episode 229, Rob.
29?
229.
Oh.
We didn't go back in time.
I wish.
I would be a lot bigger.
I wouldn't have met you.
Well, you can hope.
You'll just follow me around.
Welcome to episode 229.
Jesus Christ, that's very quick. We were talking, and then he introduced it.
That's what I do when I don't want to talk to you about certain topics anymore.
now-
I just go,
It's going to be hard to edit.
welcome to episode 229 of Watch and Complain.
That was a better one. You left more of a gap in between when we talked.
And then
And
these
when you
people
wanted
are
to
like,
start it.
what are you talking about? Today on the show, we are talking about,
Dune.
I think it's Dune.
Dune. It depends. It was made by a French guy, so maybe pronounce it Dune. Bonjour.
We'll go back to a joke from when we did Dune 1.
Dune.
And it was made by Denis Villeneuve,
Denis Villeneuve.
or in French, Denis Villeneuve.
I don't get it.
You didn't then either.
I don't rewatch things, except my kids love to watch, and I like to, but we rewatch the shorts,
You're making fun of me.
especially that have
don't
really,
rewatch
like 5 views.
Oh.
Because most of our videos have thousands of views.
If you put them together close,
Maybe it totals 1,000.
all 229.
But yeah, we watch the ones that have no views, make us laugh.
We have about an average of 1 view an episode at this point. So
Wow,
that's more than
how are
that.
we not making a massive amount of money?
it's funny because have you heard of Rooster Teeth? They were this big company who made Ruby, the anime thing. What else did they do that was big? Red versus Blue. Did you see that Halo?
Do these sound like things that I would know about?
No.
I recently had a birthday,
He's
and I'm
a
older
big
than
tech
old.
guy, but he doesn't know anything about the
Rooster Teeth.
multimedia side of podcast world. And
Only what
anyway,
interests me.
for those of you out there, Rooster Teeth has declared themselves done. They completely
Holy shit, not Rooster Teeth.
actually Warner Brothers bought them, and Warner Brothers is saying they're done. So
My God, not Rooster Teeth. This should be an in memoriam episode for Rooster Teeth.
you would like Red versus Blue because it was these guys who recorded Halo videos, and they would use the
What the
first
fuck's a Halo video?
Halo, the game.
Video game. Okay,
They film via first person's perspective in the game
I'm already bored.
and in multiplayer mode, and they would create these comedy scenes in Halo.
Wow, that does sound funny. So
It's your type of funny though.
RIPRT. Get it, Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
Anyways, I didn't rewatch our first episode. Not that I ever would. I would never watch. Like when we review the terrible Ghostbusters Frozen Land of Tomorrow, I'm not gonna watch. Do we review Ghostbusters?
Frozen. I
Yeah.
wish I had. I don't have Photoshop right now because.
Because he stole his laptop. He found it on a bus, and he stole it, and it's registered to someone else.
They didn't have
And they didn't
Photoshop.
have Photoshop.
Fuckers.
But I'm not going to rewatch our first episode. I half paid attention to that
What was
entire
that?
movie.
Netflix Weekly or Because Movie?
One of
That
them.
first episode.
But that what was it called? Ghostbusters.
Frozen Empire.
No, the old one.
Afterlife.
Okay, Afterlife. Harold Ramis's ghost. I was like, God,
That's what they should have called it.
this is
Ghostbusters Harold
awful.
Ramis's Ghost.
And I was like, and then seeing all the trailers for this. I know I keep on coming back to it because we see it. We saw the trailer for it with Dune.
You only come back to it because I keep mentioning how I'm excited to watch it, even though I know it's
Awful.
going to be like a 7 out of 10 for me. But
God.
like I'm excited because it's Ghostbusters is one of my favorite properties. So
Nope.
it's like if Evil Dead or I don't know
Eagle Dead. Rooster Teeth. Eagle Dead. They should remake Eagle Dead
Evil
by the Rooster
Dead
Teeth people.
You know this.
They should fucking
you
join
love
the two.
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead Ghostbusters.
Well, that would work.
World of the Afterworld. Ghostbusters Afterworld. Hashtag Evil Dead. That'll be all right. Slimer's got a chainsaw
Cross
hand.
Evil Dead. And they're
Cross Evil
fighting via like a fighting game.
The point is, this episode is all about Dune 2.
This is going to be a 2-hour episode.
Wow.
Still shorter than the actual movie.
I really enjoyed this movie, but it had some things that I was like, oh man, if they just pulled that out. There was a couple things that should have been. I thought Batista was fantastic. I thought he was
He wasn't
great.
in this.
Well, why would he be? The Raban character, basically the Raban character is a huge failure, right? But no,
good acting.
there were a couple
Bring him
things. There were a couple things that should have been entirely taken out, and other things that really should have been. And you can tell why they added them into the movie. So we'll talk about them when we get to them.
And things they took out that shouldn't have been taken out. Like Momoa.
Well, he's dead. Duncan Idaho's dead.
I know, but
Why the fuck would they bring back a dead guy?
should have brought back Momoa. Should have brought back Batista.
Because he's clearly box office.
Change the
he's
book.
clearly box office gold. By we saw what was he in? Aquaman, and then he was in
Fast and
something else.
Furious.
Fast and Furious.
34.
So he's clearly, and you know what? He's
He
the
was
only
the
good
best
thing
part of
in,
it,
in
yeah.
that Fast and Furiously Fast.
We just got to put him in a one-man show. Put him in a casket underground.
But yeah, he'll be the new Buried movie. But no, there are a couple things that I was like, oh man, if they just pulled that out, this would be so much better. But I really did enjoy it. I thought it was really good.
I liked it more than the first one.
Really?
I'll put it that way.
I thought there wouldn't be enough battles for you in this one.
See, we watched the first one before we went to the second one,
Okay.
just so that I could remember things because my memory sucks.
And
it made it better.
I did the same thing, but I watched up until Leto Atreides, Oscar Isaac's character, died. And I was like, all right, I remember everything because I'd read the book and I really tried to pay attention to the book because I knew I was going to be going to see the movie. So I really tried to pay attention. And I was like, holy moly, this book is really boring. But on top of that, there's so many different characters and families and traditions and blah, blah, blah. So I recalled as much of it. And it really did. As soon as I started watching the movie, a lot of it came back to me. So much so that it reminded me of how the story ended. And it was funny when I went with a friend of mine, Keith, to watch this movie. He said he's going to be really pissed off if it ends on like a cliffhanger. I said, the book doesn't really end on a cliffhanger, but it ends in a way that the story could continue because you've been talking about, Dune 3, what's going to be Dune 3, Dune 3. It's like Star Wars. Like when you think of the first Star Wars movie, it ends.
Yeah.
That part of it's over, but there's a whole new galaxy a whole galaxy you could go and make new stories about.
I was like, it's like Beetlejuice meets Star Wars meets Battlestar Galactica meets Game of Thrones.
Yeah, big. You really get the Battlestar Galactica feel in it because there's so many different houses and Battlestar Galactica has the different signs. They follow the astrological signs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's got a lot of that, and we'll talk about it when we get into it more. I don't know if you want to read the whole thing for this, but. We can.
If you want to go over it from memory, you can.
No, there were just when we get to those certain parts. One, I want you to read it
Super
just
fast?
so I can listen to you mispronounce these names. Also, what's funny too is I read the book and then I listened to the audiobook of Dune, and the reader. I don't know what you call them. The narrator of an audiobook. The person who's reading the audiobook. They pronounce them as the Harkonnens. So I was like, okay, and just that's what stuck in my head, the Harkonnens. And every time in this movie they would refer to them as the Harkonnens, I'd be like, Harkonnen. It would just in my brain, it would just hear this little voice go, Harkonnen.
It's like when after playing Fallout New Vegas,
Was that made by Rooster Teeth?
Yeah, and they would always say that one of the characters' name was Kaiser instead of Caesar.
Okay, was it incorrect? Like his name was actually Caesar.
They kept saying I think they said in the game that's actually the correct pronunciation, but people always got it wrong, and so I always took that as that's the right pronunciation. So whenever I said it in the future, I would say no, that's the proper pronunciation. I don't know if I'm wrong, so
I just go with I'm wrong. I've been married long enough. I've been white long enough to just go
you're used
wrong.
to it, yeah.
Also, we should bring up that Phil made, what are these cookies called?
Cinnamon cookies.
Cinnamon cookies. So we're going to try them.
Snickerdoodles.
While he starts.
It's actually the first time I've made snickerdoodles, and they're banger.
Really?
Yeah, they bang her. Her.
Bang who?
Her.
Snickers doodles? You can't say that your own cookies are great. All right, you start reading this garbage, and then I'll start eating this cookie.
If I say they're garbage, and then you
opinion of
say they're like 8 out of 10, that makes it a better thing, right?
If you say they're garbage and I say they're good.
Yeah, so they're garbage.
But then maybe I'm just like lip service. All right, read fucking what's happening.
I just took a bite. No, I don't know where to put this.
These aren't very good.
I'll fucking kill them.
They taste like a mix of molasses
There's no molasses.
and dirt mixed with cinnamon.
Fucking
How
hate
much
you.
dirt is in these?
All the dirt. That's why I said eat dirt before I got here.
Only for mine. These are good.
I made sure to put.
Not very good.
I marked them with an
but
R.
adequate.
Did you get the R one?
R, and then on the bottom is D for dirt ones.
Later you'll pass out. I could do what I want.
The first fucking word, and he's fucking it up.
Because I was smiling and laughing.
Oh yeah, that's
Something you're not used to people in your privy.
Smiling.
Privy? No.
in my privy.
Privy? In your purview? In your immediate area?
We're gonna rename this again, this podcast to English Lessons with Phil.
ADHDpodcast.com. I bet that's already out there. Princess Irulan Carino secretly journals that Paul Atreides may still live, while her father, Emperor of the known universe, Shaddam IV?
I don't remember, but yeah, probably
is dispirited after aiding the fall of House Atreides. On Arrakis, Stilgar's Fremen troops, including Paul and Lady Jessica, overcome a Harkonnen patrol.
All I've had to eat today is I had some tortilla chips at lunch because I was really busy. And then I had some fruit when I was sitting upstairs waiting for you to get here. So like these cookies are the first like real food I've had.
And they're 0 points.
Yeah. Those
Just
0
covered in
cookies.
sugar. The cinnamon, I'm sure, is 0. As Jessica and Paul reach, oh boy, Sitch Tabor. How Tabir?
I don't remember. Oh, Sitch Tabir, yeah.
Sure. Some Fremen
Fremen.
Fremen
So
suspect that they are spies,
Yeah.
while Stilgar and
Stilgar,
others
yeah.
see signs of the prophecy that a monster and son from the outer world will bring prosperity to Arrakis.
yeah, I think that he will be the Los Atib. I think I can never remember how to pronounce it, and then he gives himself the name Muad'Dib. But so one thing I really liked that they said it from the first movie. It's from the book too, but they did a really good job.
Muad'Dib.
Muad'Dib, that's what he calls himself. But they think he's Lasatib, but I can't remember. Point is, with Jessica being a Bene Gesserit witch, you never really know if she's working in Paul's best interests. She's working and this is one of the kind of multifaceted ways the movie and the story work, and I think Denis Villeneuve does an amazing job with this, is the Bene Gesserit are trying to ensure that they survive, and they're trying to ensure that they choose the family that's going to have the most power to survive. They were upset with Jessica that she had a son because Leto Atreides wanted a son, which is why her second kid's a girl. But taught Paul the voice, tried to get Paul to follow in the ways of the Bene Gesserit, right? And so she's sowing the seeds of Paul is your Messiah. And Paul doesn't want that. He's like, I just want to be a fucking guy. I don't know what I want to do, but I know I don't want to be a fucking Messiah. And then Paul starts realizing that if I become a Messiah, I've had visions that everything gets destroyed, right? So I love that she secretly is sowing these seeds of that the Bene Gesserit wants, thinking that it's best for her son, but pretty much going against his wishes. Like it was his mom is there with him, but his mom is she or is she not looking out for his best interests? I thought that was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, or the best interest of the
Ben Gesserit. Yeah, the two.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
This movie had a lot of great actors and one really bad one. But Rebecca Ferguson, I believe her name is. And I was amazed at how much I really enjoyed Timothée Chalamet's performance. He was great. As Paul Atreides, he was fucking great.
But the girl you hate.
Zendaya. Yeah. And you know what? I will say this. No hate on this Zendaya girl. She's a wonderfully adequate actress. I wouldn't say she's great by any stretch of the imagination. The problem is I think she's very popular right now. She's a hot, hip, cool, awesome. And she's in so many scenes that she shouldn't be. It's almost like...
she's just in the corner of a scene.
Yeah. They're like, oh, man, I wonder what Jenny thinks. Or Shenny or Jenny, I think her name is. I wonder what she thinks. And like, who fucking cares what she... That's like having an army of 10,000 people and going, man... I wonder what that one specific soldier thinks. Who fucking cares? The army does what they do.
It's kind of like the English newspapers. They'll go, oh, I wonder what who the prince is dating. Like, I wonder what they think.
Yeah. Who cares?
Like, who cares? But
it's because she's a big deal now. That's why they had to constantly keep on bringing her up. And I'll get into it when they start discussing it. But she's in the movie too much. She should have been relegated to a C character, not a B, not an A.
But is she a C character in the book?
She is, yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes
sense.
And
that the ending of the book makes, and the ending of the story, that same thing happened in this movie, makes a lot more sense with the way that she's treated and how you understand why she's upset. In the movie, it's stupid. I don't like the way they did it in the movie, but we'll get to that once we get to it.
But they still can guide her off the path of the movie.
But she's effectively, at the end of the story, she's a concubine. That's what her job's going to be.
Yeah.
Right? Or if she wants to have a relationship with Paul,
that's
she's going to
look like that. Like,
no, you get that vibe in the story.
You do get that
she's
vibe.
Going to be.
Yeah.
And she's she stands up and like you're a soldier. Like you're whatever. Like we'll get into it.
You're
when
watching
we get to
the
it.
movie and you're like, are we going to like a three-way? What is this? What is that? Okay here?
You know what though? That Florence Pugh, she's another one. She's a fine actress, but I don't get I don't get the big
She's not
deal about her.
spectacular.
Yeah.
She's not like above the rest. She's all
Like
right.
she did nothing in this movie that, and it sounds like I'm hating on the women in this movie. I'm not. Rebecca Ferguson's fantastic. The Bene Gesserit witch, fantastic. A lot of the women in this movie are fantastic. And Florence Pugh and Zendaya, they do a fine job with the roles. There was nothing memorable, nothing, and maybe it was because I went in there
Nothing that stands out. Yeah.
expecting that Chalamet kid to get on my nerves, but he fucking won me over completely. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed his performance.
Yeah, I like the guy that they killed off more.
Which guy they killed off?
The guy that was
Faye Rotha?
that he killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's an
He was
awesome
great.
actor.
He
He's
did
like
fantastic. Yep. Austin Butler.
everything he's in is just it's kind of the same everything he's in. but
I didn't watch the Elvis thing. I still have to watch Masters of the Air. It's all queued up for me. But he was great as Fayed
so
Rotha. I was really impressed, man.
and like they made it look like
I'm
he
having
was
another one of these
going-
cookies.
That's
They're
that's
all
what they're here
fucking
for.
mine. You
That's
can
fine.
have you
I
can
have
keep
more
your
at
half.
home. I
You've
can
had
make
food
more
today.
They're actually way easier to make than I actually thought. I've been waiting all this time because I thought they were so hard
It
to
looks
make.
like they're covered in sand.
It's totally sand.
We watched a movie that had sand in it.
Oh, was that Ghostbusters
Robot.
Frozen Empire?
Frozen Sand Empire.
They just mix the movies. People at home watching this are going to be like,
These guys are idiots. That's what I'd be saying.
Stilgar informs Jessica that their reverend mother is dying, and she must become her replacement by drinking the water of life,
I just sucked out a sandworm.
a fatal poison for males and the untrained. However, Jessica successfully transmutates the poison, surviving and inheriting the memories of every female ancestor in her lineage.
I like that
He takes a bite and then starts talking.
in the book, she gives birth to her daughter. I kind of missed out on that, unless I remember the book wrong, which is very possible. But in the book, she's born and she's
Maybe
the
she'll
Lhasa
become Madam
Tiber, it's
Web.
called, right? And then she's like controlling
The
sandworms.
thing is, she's already talking to her mom before this.
I thought that was neat. I thought that was really cool.
So it's like, what
She
does it
talks to her
matter?
mother.
Does that give the girl powers later on?
I know I talked to my mother when I was in the womb. I was like, which one of these guys is my dad?
Which one? Of all the men you're having sex with currently and bonking me with.
Right?
Remarkably, the water also prematurely awakens the mind of her unborn daughter, Alia. Let's say Alia, allowing Jessica to communicate with her. Together, they agree that convincing the weak-minded in northern Arrakis of the prophecy should be their first priority. So when I saw that, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, you're taking it by force, which makes you the bad guy.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. I like that. She's not a good guy. Even Paul, when you think of it, Paul becomes a leader of the Fremen, but he then destroys the Emperor, murders the fucking the Baron Harkonnen. Like, Paul's not a great guy.
But political wise, it's the lesser evils, right?
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's a really political story. It's not a, Avengers or good versus evil.
Yeah.
It's a very political story, and that is what really attracted me to it. I
So,
really
like,
enjoyed that part of it.
Straightforward to the people of, what is it, Arrakis?
Arrakis.
They are like, they're getting taken advantage of either way.
Well, the Fremen have been fighting the Harkonnens for years,
Mm-hmm.
right? But Paul wants to come in and give the Fremens their land
But
and their respect, but still needs the spice to be produced, and that's what the Fremen don't want. So that's why the Atreides were called in, but the Atreides were effectively called in to be bamboozled. The Emperor was working with the Harkonnens behind the scenes for the Harkonnens to go back in and wipe out the Atreides and come down, and then for the Harkonnens to basically, hopefully, I think is what the Emperor wanted, with the Sardaukar, which is the army of the Emperor, to go in and destroy House Atreides, which they effectively did, destroy the Fremen and take the planet entirely for themselves. That's what I think the overall goal is, and the movie is that story playing out.
then Okay, we'll get into it.
You didn't pay attention to the movie at all.
I
Who was
did.
Sidecar?
I did. The sidecar? There's
the
no
sidecars.
cars there. It's just these winged things. They're like
I had a mouthful of cookies. I said,
sidecar.
Sidecar.
Sidecar,
But
yeah.
he's also motorbike in the sand. There's a guy in the sidecar going, where's Tom Holland?
That's what was in Star Wars, right? Meanwhile, Chani and her friend, Shishakli,
Yep.
believe the prophecy is false and designed to
What's her name? Jenny. Chani.
Chani.
Chani. I call her Jenny.
and Jenny and Shishakli believe her prophecy is false and designed to control the Fremen.
Now I
It
got to
is.
add those cookies to my
It
points.
is. Nevertheless, when Paul delivers a speech about not seeking power but wanting only to fight alongside them, Chani develops respect for him. Is that when? No, that was, yeah, okay. Great conversation. Paul and Chani eventually fall in love.
Yeah. Like, this, and you know what? I don't want to be one of those assholes that's like, it should be like the book. It shouldn't. But this is
Go
where,
read Jurassic Park.
that's where it felt like Zendaya's in this movie won way too much, and these parts were so fucking redundant. Like, I love you, and I'll love you until I stop breathing. No, I love you, and I'll love you until the sun sets. Did you know that there's water on Caladan? You can dive into it. You're crazy. You're lying. I would never lie to you. Love you. It's like, shut up. This is annoying.
This is part of my problem with this movie is like everything is so prolonged. And the same thing happened in the first movie. Not a surprise they were made together, right?
See, I feel everything else is justified with its length, but the love story is like, dude, I get it. I get they're in love. We
everything
don't need
that
to
was
fucking
like-
hear it every 2 minutes. Because the scenes were like the exact same. He'd be
Yes.
like, you're the only one I love you. And then, oh, look, there's 5 minutes where everyone's talking. Then we're back to fucking Paul and Chani. But what about love? I could love you for love. It's like, shut up. I get it. We've already done this fucking scene. Move on.
And anything like with the tents or the walking on the sand, it's just like it's too much. It's all the same. And then also enough. I can hear it in my head now. The stupid lady that's singing the song constantly throughout the movie.
I get it. I don't know. I guess it just didn't bother me as much as you. The only thing that bothered me that was prolonged was the fucking the love story. I was like, this, and it's not like the love story needs to be there. It was just the constant fucking scenes of reminding of it. It's like I don't. We don't need this.
We needed more sandworm eating people.
I don't know. It's really that lending
And
anything to the
things.
story. Things.
When
You want the things from fucking John Carpenter's The Thing to show
when
up?
the sandworm ate the giant. Was this in the first one or second one? It mixes together. The giant
first one.
sand crawler.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
spice
cool.
harvester,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, that's it.
And then they have all the bodies left. I think it's all Sardaukar bodies, and then it comes up and eats
That
all
was
them.
boring because you didn't see a thing. There's no blood in this movie.
Why does there need to be blood? There will be
Coming
blood
from someone
in a
who
different
loves
movie.
bloody movies all the time.
I do, but it doesn't. This movie doesn't fucking need it.
It doesn't need.
Yes, it does. I was walking to the theater singing to myself, I'm going to buy that album. I can come home and listen to it and be like, well, I'm listening to it.
I made some movie album joke where it was like every single song. It's just one long song. Paul and Chani eventually fall in love. As Paul embraces the Fremen way, learning their language, taking part in rites such as riding a sandworm, becoming a Fredekin fighter, and helping raid Harkonnen spice operations.
So
Those
I
were
liked,
cool.
Yeah, I liked all this part. And then he runs into Gurney, and he's happy to see Gurney again. And then Gurney becomes one of his best guys. And what I liked about this scene, and
I was waiting for him to turn.
you might think this part's not important, but the whole point of him finding Gurney, and Gurney was kind of you didn't know if he was working with the Harkonnen or if he was kind of like a smuggler doing it
Double
all on his
agent
own.
or something.
And then the fact that Paul trusts Gurney implicitly, and then the rest of the Fremen are like, hey, we trust Paul implicitly. If Paul trusts him, that means we trust him. I liked that it wasn't slow. It was an acceptably paced build to so at the end when Paul is the leader of the Fremen and they all kind of trust his leadership, without judgment, and absolutely it feels deserved. It doesn't just feel like at the end, like when you think of in episode 3 when Anakin turns into Darth Vader. Well, you killed Mace Windu. I guess you're Darth Vader now. Like, no, that doesn't feel deserved at all. This Paul's ascension to be the Muad'Dib, the leader, the Ishi-Tib, or whatever the fuck his name is, when he becomes the leader of the Fremen people, that feels very deserved.
The only thing that seemed deserved was the only thing that seemed deserving from what he did was like with a group of people going after these guys. Whereas the other stuff like transmutating the poison, that was luck. And like anything else was all like rumor and hearsay. It's just like he didn't really.
But it was being set by the Bene Gesserit witch, yes. Right, by his mother.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't really earn it, except for those times where he fought.
Well, he rode the sandworm. He learned to fight with the Fremen. You're just going to look for all fucking sorts of reasons just to bash it. And then I'm going to be doing the same shit with stupid
running,
Ghostbusters,
whatever those things
but it's going to be so much fucking easier. You're going to be like, no, it makes sense that Slimer was there.
Dog slaying, not killing.
Dog slaying?
Like getting on a
sledding.
Dog
slaying. It's dog sledding. Dog slaying is when you're like hacking their heads off. Fucking dog slaying.
You can do both at the same time.
Just chuck axes at them while they're pulling you forward.
Exactly. If they're trying to dodge the axes, they're going faster.
They'll run faster. And then the whole fucking sled is going like this. I'm going to make fun of Ghostbusters the same fucking way by poking holes in it. And you're just going to be... I'm so looking forward to how you're going to justify the garbage that happened to Ghostbusters.
I'm fully expecting you to be like that. You do that with everything.
We're going to go to the special... seats in Landmark that you and your wife went to, where it's like
the
closed off
seats
from other people. Man, there is a lot of stuff being cleaned up off those seats. I fucking guarantee it. Because now that people aren't being seen by other people, they're doing some shit.
It's still not fully private or anything.
I don't think people care.
You can see over top. Like it's not super private. It's just private against the people next to you.
Well, if you've got a blanket, people are going to be doing shit.
Hopefully not doing shit, like taking a...
That'd be all right. No. What if it's part of the movie?
Well, if it's in a diaper, I just don't want to smell it.
That's what I should do. I should wear a diaper the next time we go to the movies.
I'm not going with
I'm going to wear a diaper to Ghostbusters and say, busted makes me feel good.
And then like 30 seconds into the movie, I'll be like, I've seen this. I'm going. Or I'll fall asleep.
There you go. You know what? You'll fall asleep and I'll fall asleep. No, you know what? I will stay awake just because I'll be so fueled by anger.
And then we can say we went to Ghostbusters and slept with one another.
We went to Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters.
Paul takes on Fremen names. Wow.
Paul takes on the Fremen name of Muad'Dib.
Yes.
Politics and Fremen.
I went. No,
Ghostbusters.
I emphasized wrong words and came up with a whole different kind of sentence than what they intended. Paul takes on the Fremen names Usul,
yeah.
and Muad'Dib, which you've said before.
Muad'Dib.
So copy. Due to the spice raids, Baron Harkonnen replaces his nephew Rabban.
Now get this name. This would be a good one.
As Arrakis ruler.
With Rabban's
just says
brother.
Rabban. Ruler with his psychotic, murderous younger nephew, Feyd-Rautha.
Feyd-Rautha. Yeah.
That's what I said. Lady Margot Fenring. Fenring?
Yep.
And Bene Gesserit.
A Bene Gesserit.
We just say Bene Gesserit because there's one, right?
No.
Is sent to
it's a cabal.
I only saw one. I don't see multiple Bene Gesserits.
You just see. You don't see
one.
Color. You just see.
I just see one.
This one.
That's what we need a shirt saying. It just confused people.
I don't see color. I just see one.
That's cool.
All right. In the middle, I'm going to tell you a riddle, and then I want you to continue reading this, but still try to figure out the riddle in your head. All right.
I can't do mobile.
Are you ready? All right, but here's the riddle.
It's the worst episode we've ever done.
30 cows are in a field. 28 chickens. How many didn't? All right, so now I'll continue reading while you think about that. Where we leave off? Jessica travels south to unite with more fundamentalist Fremen, but Paul fears his visions would show him that a holy war will manifest if he also goes south as a messiah. Staying in the north, he reunites with Gurney Halleck, who leads him to the House Atreides' hidden atomic stockpile. Fayed attacks Sietch Tabir and kills Shishkali, which forces the survivors, including Paul, to journey south. Upon arriving, Paul drinks the water of life and falls into a deep coma. Chani is forced to awaken him by mixing her tears because she's the Desert Spring with the water across his lips. But again, it was...
That was like quickly done and not explained.
But I was like, oh man, more Zendaya. It's like, dude, just get rid
But
of
they
it.
didn't even foreshadow that, as far as I can tell. Like they didn't explain.
She
it.
mentions
Just,
to
she
him
happens
once-
to tear up at one point, and they're like, "Well, that was in the story too."
Yeah, they mentioned that her name's Desert Spring, but then Stilgar also says to Jessica, like, don't waste any water, not even for the dead. It's like, then why the fuck is Zendaya crying all the time? But whatever.
Just lick her face every single time.
And he attains both prescience and knowledge of the past, seeing the vision of an adult Alia on the water-filled Arrakis and discovering that Jessica is the Baron's daughter, making Paul both an Atreides and a Harkonnen. So,
This is a podcast.
have you figured out the riddle yet? Do you want to hear it again?
Yeah.
30 cows on a field, 28 chickens. How many didn't?
How many first? Who's on first?
30 cows in a field. 30 cows in a field. 28 chickens. How
Two.
many didn't? Where did Dexter came up with the same answer? Where do you get 2?
30 cows in the field.
Yep.
28. Oh, 10. My bad.
Even Dexter said 2. I'm like, where do you get 2 from? He
28.
goes, because 2 of them chickened off. I'm like, what?
What?
Who fucking knows? But that's a good. You figured it out. The Southern Fremen leaders urge Paul to challenge Stilgar for leadership, but he refuses and instead proves himself by reciting thoughts of 2 Fremen spectators. He declares himself the Lisan al-Gaib, that's what it is, and sends a challenge to Shaddam, who then arrives on Arrakis with Irulan Mohaim and his Sardaukar troops. The Sardaukar are the
Did they even
army of
like
the Emperor.
say anything about fighting the dude?
Yeah, it comes up at the end when he goes up against Phaedra.
No, the guy who at the starting of the movie, or was that the first movie?
Yeah, Shishkalar. He's the guy that Paul fought to prove that he was a warrior.
Was that in here?
No. At the start it was.
Of this movie?
Yes.
And it's not in here.
No.
Isn't
It's
that
in here at the start because remember,
Is it?
that's the body that was all that Paul helped carry and that they emptied into the well.
Did I read it and just not take it in?
Probably.
Oh, jeez.
Freak.
Happens all
Blah,
the
blah,
time.
blah, 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 blah.
This
Gurney
is why
intercepts.
in grade 6, I almost
Red
had to
Dune.
redo that grade.
Redune school.
Redoing the school.
Waterfall
Spice
Rise.
Wars.
The Southern Fremen leaders are called challenge Stilgar. He declares himself the Lisan al-Gaib and sends a challenge to Shaddam, who then arrives in Arrakis with Irulan, Mohaim, and his Sardaukar troops. Paul's Fremen surround Shaddam's forces and attack using atomics and sandworms. Sardaukar are overpowered, and Paul kills the Baron and takes Shaddam on his entourage captive.
When you read these things, you have to articulate and get it wrong. But you have to remember that people are listening to you, so they don't want to try to figure out what you're saying when you're going.
Gurney intercepts and kills a fleeing Raban
Pretend you're an audiobook.
as Paul. Oh, no, I'm gonna be Casey Kasem for a trailer.
On that note, first of all,
Motherfucker. See, now you know what it now
Casey
I know
Kasem.
what it's like to be interrupted all the time.
I only knew Casey Kasem from Saved by the Bell. And-
Really?
Yeah. Because
See,
it
I
was
only knew-
before my time. Like it was it wasn't
I
a
knew-
radio thing.
I didn't know who he was, but I knew like the voice. I recognized the voice. But then the one thing that just fucked me right up, he was the voice of Shaggy on the Scooby-Doo cartoon.
No way.
Shaggy is Casey Kasem. Not fucked up. Like,
that-
gosh, Scoobo, we're gonna find it. Like that. That's fucking Casey Kasem.
Weird.
Isn't that nuts? As Paul challenges Shaddam for the throne, demanding Irulan's hand in marriage, the great houses arrive in orbit. Paul threatens to destroy Arrakis' spice fields with the Atreides' atomics if they intervene. Shaddam chooses Feyd-Rautha as his champion. Feyd-Rautha nearly kills Paul before Paul fatally stabs him. Irulan agrees.
He's a good bad guy.
He was great. And he's only there for a really short amount of time, but you really got the kind of that he's a real screwhead. As I'm watching it, I was reminded of that fucking absolutely awful Rebel Moon movie. And remember how they tried to set up the bad guy in Rebel Moon as, ooh, he's so bad and he has snakes that crawl all over him and he's bad and stuff. It's almost like someone had told Hack Snyder about, or he had heard through the grapevine about this movie being made. And he was like, I'm going to make a bad guy that's just like Feyd-Rautha. Except Denis Villeneuve knew to get Austin Butler, knew how to direct him, knew what to tell him, what parts of the book to read to really learn who this Feyd-Rautha character is. Whereas Hack Snyder was just like to whatever guy played the, yeah, you got snakes, and snakes are cool, and you're like so cool with all these snakes and badass. That's how Hack Snyder directs people.
What's the Thor movie with the black and white character?
Yeah, the God Killer, Christian Bale's character, yeah. No, that's a good one too. But yeah, he was just Austin Butler did great, man.
The girl that went and infiltrated him.
Oh yeah,
Not him.
She's Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, she would have been better as the king's daughter, like that actor.
Yeah. No,
she was dropped dead.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Shaddam kneels and kisses Paul's signet ring above Arrakis. The great houses refuse to accept Paul's ascendancy. Oh, wait, sorry. So Paul orders the Fremen to attack the orbiting fleet in response. As Stilgar leads the Fremen onto the captured Sardaukar ships, Jessica and Alia reflect that this is just the beginning of Muad'Dib's holy war. A heartbroken Chani refuses to bow to Paul and leaves. Exciting. And again, it
was good.
Yeah, and the thing part. In the book, you get the vibe that Jenny. I thought her name was Jenny, but whatever. You got the vibe that Paul said to her, like, not early on, but had told her his plan to marry the emperor's daughter, and just like his father never married his mother, I'll never marry you, right? And if you want to continue a relationship, you'll effectively be like a concubine. And she was like, I don't know, dude. And
but
that's
she didn't have that forethought of being like, I plan to love this guy. She was fighting it the whole way, but then she fell in love with him.
Yeah, but I guess I just saw it more when I from the book. And again, I'm not just saying, oh, it should be like the book, but the books just gave a clear idea of she's like, I don't really want to be a concubine, but I believe in the cause.
Also, right? For someone who's fighting, wanting to be with him, why was she with him constantly?
Constantly. Yeah, that's what one of the confusing parts was.
That made no sense. Yeah.
I think it's just to show more Zendaya.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, she's fine.
Like how was she?
It was pointless to have her this much.
You said she's like a third party in the book?
No, and she's not like...
How does she keep coming
relegated to the back? Absolutely. She is there, but she's not there in the book as much as she is in the movie.
Does she teach him the lessons of the...
Yeah. She's kind of his...
Arachni people.
Yeah, the... Arachni. Yeah, she's his kind of Fremen.
Fremen sounds like a sexual term, like the Fremen of my penis.
No, I out of all of them, I feel like Sardaukar is something that sounds like a catch.
Oh man, it sounds like a cat treat.
I've got Sardaukar of the bag. It's getting up to my Fremen.
My Fremen is itchy.
My Fremen is itching me constantly. I'm going to have to get some Atreides cream.
So now she's gone.
Not gone, but she'll be part of the army. And if the story does continue, which I'd be surprised if it didn't.
On the sand plays.
Yeah, and the
planet.
He
goes up.
Yeah. And he's got to ascend to become the new emperor.
So it's going to be one of those things where like they're apart, but it's like Romeo and Juliet or whatever.
Or he might like see her secretly and have a relationship with her. Like again, she'll be his side piece.
But
for
is he
lack
a
of
big
better
enough
term.
deal where it wouldn't matter if he was seeing her secretly? Like,
Don't know.
do all
I'm-
kingdoms
I'm-
have concubines?
I'm sure that this is explained more in the follow up Dune books, but I've never read them. Dune 1 was enough for me. Exciting.
What would you rate this
I was-
out of 10?
I was bummed that it wasn't the masterpiece I was hoping to, but I went in with extremely high expectations, and it met a good chunk of them, but not all of them. So I'd give it an 8. For me, it's an 8 out of 10.
I'm being generous and giving it a 7 out of 10. It's more than I thought it would be for me. I thought it would be like a 5 or a 6 because I thought I'd be way more bored than I was. So.
I was honestly irritated that I didn't get the Dune pussy bucket that everyone's banging. I was annoyed. I was like, God damn it, I want the Dune pussy bucket.
I went
and
to
they didn't have one.
Cineplex that day that you were planning to go, and I wanted to go just to see if they had Ghostbusters merch. So I went in and I looked also for the Dune thing, and I had to tell you, I don't think they have the Dune thing. They have they have
Dunacy.
Reese's buckets.
What? I was
They're
trying
shaker
to make
buckets.
sense out of it.
You put the Reese's pieces,
Oh.
not pieces, but they're like the
Yeah.
small cups.
I-
You put them on your chocolate, and then you
I
mix
could
it.
not figure out how the fuck. I'm looking at the box and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. It looks like a hat. It looks like it looks like Pac-Man, but it's closed, and then you open it.
It's something brought up from a certain demographic in America where like and it's like in the theaters in Texas they have pickles that you can buy. It's some people they like putting chocolate on their popcorn and like shaking it.
Also, this is something that Phil will make a TikTok or YouTube short for. Notice my shirt is a very attractive Twi'lek from
The Twi'leks are awesome anyway.
and this shirt I got at a burlesque parody show called The Empire Strips Back that I went to in Toronto. If you do see it advertised anywhere, definitely go check it out. It's fantastic. The girls are gorgeous. The guys are gorgeous. George, who is your MC, is hilariously funny. Wonderful show. And I just wanted to send a shout out to them because they're awesome.
If you go, tell them that Watch and Complain sent you.
That's right.
You'll get nothing. You might get a kick in the ass. Actually,
Yeah, we don't like those dicks. But it
They
was a
reviewed
wonderful
us.
show. Wonderful show. Enjoyed it very much.
I was uninvited.
Yeah.
It was Rob's birthday. Happy birthday, Rob!
Oh, it was my anniversary that I went to strip.
But it was your birthday.
It was my birthday last weekend, yeah.
I thought it was this past Sunday.
Was it?
So this past weekend.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And what day did you go to?
Empire Strips Back?
Yeah.
For my anniversary on February 25th.
What did you do this weekend?
Cat show in Toronto.
I thought that was all. I thought that was the same thing. You know,
I'm-
a cat show.
I'm extremely important and jetting around everywhere around Kingston, around our little area of Ontario. And then next weekend, I got to go back down to Brampton. To
Every
visit
time
my
you say a
papa.
cat show, I keep thinking it's
Papa.
something dirty.
Even everyone's saying, like, so my sister
You went to a burlesque strip
messaged
show.
me, and
Cat show could be the same thing.
I said, yeah, we were down in Toronto for the cat show on Saturday. And she's like, first off, what the fuck is a cat show?
Exactly. She's got to now watch her show just to watch me have that same, not this show, but the one previous where you were explaining on the show. And I was like,
I was like, are you having a stroke?
yeah,
Are you having a stroke? I was having a stroke at the burlesque show.
I don't think they allow that
It was cool, too, because
unless you're on stage performing.
George told the audience, he's like, hey, burlesque and strip joints are very different. You should treat them with respect anyway, but
Yeah.
at a burlesque show, like, you don't yell take it off or show us your tits or stuff like that. It's
Take
more
it off
dancing
is a bad thing to say.
to a burlesque show, because burlesque is dancing, right? It's
Yeah.
more dancing than stripping.
But they are taking things off.
But you don't yell at them to take it off.
But
They're
it's
going
an
to be taking it off.
encouragement. I'm being encouraging.
That was it was funny. I said to Karen, she was there with me. I'm like, and even all of us, because we were in the front row. We had the emperor seating, so we were in the front row, and they encourage you to cheer, but you're like,
But not take it off because that would be
so you don't want to
discouraging.
say anything lewd.
Don't take it off. I don't want to discourage you.
You don't want to say anything lewd, and you want to cheer for them, but you don't want to cheer with the ideology that you are cheering for them to take it off. So your brain is doing this circle where every now and then I'd be like, woo!
So if they looked down and they saw some dude has a boner, would they kick you out?
Probably. I think so. But the best part, one of the best parts,
I should ask my friend. She does burlesque. So.
She had big boobies.
I can't speak to that because I never look.
Whatever. But so they had Han Solo, really, really good looking guy, played Han Solo. And since we're in the front row, he comes out, him and Chewbacca doing their thing together. And Han Solo comes out and like right down his knees in like that slide, that you do in your knees. And he slides out, and
I do that all the time.
He comes right up to me, and he's like fucking like right in front of me, and he's like like that to me, and I'm like, I look at a camera, I'm like, why do you fucking choose me? And Han Solo was
you signed up for it.
It's true. He was a good looking kid, so I enjoyed it. He was like, I call him a kid because he was in his 20s, and I'm fucking old. I'm almost
62
50
now.
That's right. I turned 85 this past Sunday.
62,
but go see
like 3 years in
Empire
a row.
Strips Back. It was fantastic. We're sorry you've been watching Watch and Complain.
This
Please
is what
watch
happens
us again.
when Rob eats too many cookies.
That's true. I did have like
when
5.
He's not used to it.
I had 5 and you had 1.
How are you going to list that in your app?
I did. I put it in her. I put it as ginger snaps.
5. No, but they're not ginger snaps.
I don't give a fuck.
They're Snickerdoodles. They have more sugar
I
in
put
them.
down as ginger snaps.
You're gonna have
It
to
all has
fix
ginger.
It. You're gonna
Fuck
have to
that.
Fix it now.
Oh, fuck it. All right. Goodbye, everybody.